Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Can you imagine a world where the whole earth is filled with water? Just water. The sea, no land. Where humans have to swim instead of walk? Well, today we're watching the 1995 movie Waterworld. Let's get into this.
The movie begins in a world where the melting of polar ice has resulted in all continents becoming submerged in water, forcing humans to adapt to their new environment. They now live in rugged, floating communities known as atolls, feeding on seafood and living off of trades. Plants, dirt, and soil cost more than gold, and people use their urine for cultivation due to lack of fresh water. In other words, this movie was the inspiration for Burning Man. Although the world is turned into an endless, giant ocean, many believe there still exists dry land somewhere. Several groups of people are looking for the said magical place in hopes of living a better life, but no one has been successful yet. We are introduced to a man named Mariner, who lives in a ramshackle boat that appears to be made of scrap. Boy, Costner sure loved showing off his ass in the 90s. He is seen urinating in a small vessel, and then pouring this urine into a machine that converts it into drinkable water. In the boat, he's planted a lime tree,
I wasn't expecting that. Okay, let's continue.
Commodity in the world with no land. Mariner does fishing and collects reusable trash from the ocean for his survival. One afternoon, after a dive, he notices another boat approaching him. The man on the other boat tells Mariner about an atoll where he obtained various supplies. He wants to trade them, but when Mariner learns that the man wants nothing in return, he begins to doubt him. He soon realizes that the man has stolen all of his limes. Simultaneously, a group of smokers arrives in their jet skis and begins attacking them. Despite the fact that Mariner's boat is made up of scrap, it is fast and he is able to escape, whereas the other man is apprehended by the smokers. Following this, Mariner arrives at the atoll, a floating city surrounded by high metal walls. At the gate, he says he's there to trade his belongings. Upon heading inside, he reveals that he has some genuine dirt to trade, which is extremely rare. Seeing this, the people of the atoll give him 124 chits in exchange for a jar of dirt. He then uses the same chits to purchase a tomato plant, which is full of dirt and some other scraps from a woman named Helen. After the trade, he is returning to his boat when a family approaches him and asks him to impregnate their daughter, but he refuses to do so, not accepting a...
Huh? What am I watching? What is this movie? The family just approached him and asked him to impregnate their daughter, just like that, a total stranger who just came into your town. There's no other man in your town. Huh? Okay.
Woman makes them think he's nuts, so they order the locals to stop him. After he is apprehended, the locals discover Mariner is a mutant with gills behind his ears and webbed feet. Mariner tries to fight back, but he's captured under a fishing net.
Wait, I'm confused. He's a fish? What movie is this? He's a fish? And see, because he rejected their daughter, you see what they did to him? They raised false alarm. Maybe it's not false or whatever. And he ended up being captured. He's a fish? What? Okay, I feel like this movie is like a slow burn. Like, it takes time to get into it because so far I'm kind of lost and kind of confused and kind of intrigued at the same time. Let's continue and see what happens.
Later that night, Helen meets with an elderly man named Gregor and inquires as to when they can depart for dry land. Gregor informs that the direction for the dry land is tattooed on the back of a little girl named Enola, but he does not understand it. Gregor then considers asking Mariner about it, who is imprisoned inside a cage. Following this, he approaches Mariner and inquires about the...
Why do they think he will know that? And who tattooed that on a little girl? Why do they think that he will understand the map that is tattooed on the little girl? I don't get it. They've not given us any context as to why they might think. Is it because he's a mutant or a fish or whatever? Let's continue.
Mutation, but Mariner appears to be dismissive of him. Only when Gregor shows the picture of the tattoo does Mariner seem interested. In exchange for the information, Mariner wants him to open the cage, but Gregor is not allowed to do so. The next day, the local people decide to drown Mariner in the swamp pit by lowering his cage. But to his good fortune, simultaneously, an army of smokers led by Deacon arrives to attack the atoll. They are also looking for the mythical dry land and want to get to the little girl who holds the secret to its path. Soon after, the smoker...
Oh, so it's like everyone knows that this little girl holds like the secret path or code to where dry land is. But for a movie which plot is about like the world being covered in water, people are doing a lot of walking on land, you know? For a movie which the concept of the whole movie is that the earth is filled with 100% water. These people are literally walking on land. Am I blind? Like, am I seeing things? Okay.
Encircle the atoll and begin shooting with large machine guns, killing several atoll residents. Eventually, the smokers with the jet skis enter the building via self-built ramps. Inside, Gregor fills a balloon and inadvertently flies away, abandoning Helen and Enola. Meanwhile, Mariner tries to break free, but his cage collapses, causing it to shrink gradually.
Wow. The man flew away. I have a feeling it will end well for him.
Helen notices this and rushes to his aid. She agrees to assist him, but only if he takes her and Enola with him, to which he agrees. Following this, he tells the girls to open the gate until he starts his boat. Unfortunately, the gate becomes stuck, so Mariner uses the ship's rigging to fly up, open the gate, and to jump back to the boat. Enola and Helen also board the boat and make their way out of Atoll. On the other hand, the smoker with machine guns continues to fire in an undetermined direction, causing their leader Deacon's boat to explode. However, Deacon dives into the sea at that precise moment, saving his life. After the battle, the smokers continue looking for Enola, having found that she has the tattoo of the way to dry land. The smokers bought...
Oh. And now she's with the guy and Helen, right? Okay, so I guess they'll be going after him now.
And one of the locals and inquire about...
So basically he's in even more danger now. Okay.
Enola. Fearful of death, the man reveals everything he knows, but he is killed anyway. As they sail away, Helen asks Mariner if he knows how to get to dry land, to which he responds in the affirmative. However, he advises her to throw Enola away before going there, because they have limited food and water. Helen tries to persuade him not to do so. She even offers herself in turn for the little girl's life, but Mariner...
Really? This girl holds the path to dry land. She literally has the tattoo you need to get there. Except, okay, she asked him if he knows, and he said he knows the way. Obviously, so they don't need her. But how heartless can you be to want to just discard a little girl? Because in this case, obviously, he means to kill her. Like to just leave her in the sea or something. Because where else are they going to discard her? Like where else are they going to leave her? Let's continue.
Mariner dismisses her. Men with gills and webbed feet are asexual. After a while, Mariner notices Enola drying on his boat, which irritates him, and he throws her into the water. Helen panics, knowing that Enola is unable to swim, so she dives in to save her. Mariner appears to abandon the two in the water, but he later returns to pick them up. As soon as they get on the boat,
This man is heartless and crazy. How can you just throw this little girl into the... I guess he came back for them. Whatever.
Smokers arrive on a plane and begin shooting at them. While Mariner goes down to retrieve his weapon, Helen rushes towards the large spear gun and fires at it without Mariner's permission. As a result, the plane is now tethered to the boat by the metal rope and begins circling it, tangling it in a web. When
Won't
Mariner
it sink the
notices this,
ship
he rushes up to cut the rope
or
and
the boat?
untangle the boat, while the smokers do the same. A few moments later, the smokers are able to shoot the rope and fly away, whereas Mariner swings off and lands in the water. He is furious at Helen for destroying the boat, so he cuts both her and Enola's hair as punishment. Weird. On the other hand,
What sort of movie is this? I'm confused. What kind of world are they living in? Where someone can just cut your hair as punishment? Huh? What is happening here? This movie is all over the place. It's just confusing.
and Deacon guesses their location and deploys his men to find Enola. While sailing, they come across a drifter who admits to having some important papers and offers to trade them in exchange for Helen. Helen refuses, but Mariner agrees. The drifter takes Helen to his boat, while Mariner quickly examines the paper and discovers that it is useless. He quickly rushes into the drifter's boat and cancels the deal. This enrages the drifter. The drifter says he has a zero return policy and tries to stab Mariner. A fight ensues and Mariner kills the drifter. In the next scene, Mariner demonstrates how he
So what? He sold Helen to the drifter? I mean, this movie was in 1995. So how far from civilization were they? I mean, what? I mean, 1995, the world was quite civilized. Wouldn't you say? People were not selling people. I mean, I know slavery still exists. Trust me. It still does. But what? Anyway, this was a different world. So I guess everyone is trying to survive. So let me get this straight. He could throw the little girl into the sea without caring, but he just killed a man and he doesn't have the decency to throw the man's body into the sea. Like, the man's body is just there, exposed on his boat, with the little girl and the woman looking at it. Make it make sense.
fishes. He dives into the water as bait, and soon a massive mutated fish appears. He then uses his weapon to kill the fish and prepares food for everyone. Mariner was rude to them at first, but now he appears to be nice to them as he starts talking to Enola. He allows Enola to draw with a colored pencil and also teaches her how to swim. Helen appears concerned as she witnesses their bond growing stronger. After a while, they come across the barter outpost and notice some men waving at them. Mariner is suspicious, so he looks beneath the water and discovers the smokers waiting for them. He immediately turns the boat around in order to flee, but the smokers give chase. They somehow manage to avoid the attacks of the smokers. Mariner then deploys the extra sails as parachutes, allowing them to flee faster. After they are safe, Mariner forces Helen to reveal the truth about Enola's tattoo, so she discloses that the tattoo is the path to dry land. When Mariner hears this, he claims that dry land is a myth, but
So wait, all along he didn't know that the little girl had the path to the dry land and the woman hadn't told him. But I thought that he said he knew the path to dry land. So right now, why is he saying dry land is a myth? If you've watched the full movie, just give us a paragraph in the comment section. Explain what this movie is about, because my patience is running out. So wait, where did he think he was taking them to? Like, where did he think he was taking them to? Because she freed him on the condition that she goes with him to the dry land. Or did I not hear right? Or am I imagining things? Maybe I didn't get that part. Because all along I thought, because when he was caged, the man that flew away came to him and showed him the map, that's tattoo on a paper, and asked him if he knows anything about it, and he responded in the affirmative, right? So now why is he saying the dry land is a myth? Okay.
She does not believe him. As a result, he decides to show her. He places Helen inside a large bubble and submerges her. He can breathe through his gills. So he takes her deep into the ocean and shows her the past world, which is completely covered in water, which shocks her. Meanwhile, Enola is waiting for them in the boat when she notices something in the water and quickly hides. When Mariner and Helen swim to the surface, they discover that they have been apprehended by the smokers. Deacon coerces them into telling him about Enola, but they both remain silent. Deacon then shoots at the air,
Where's
pretending to
Enola?
kill them, and as a result, Enola comes out, being concerned, and she is quickly captured by the smokers. Deacon orders his men to kill Mariner and Helen, but the two escape by diving into the water. Helen says she can't hold her breath that long, and Mariner tells her that he'll breathe for her. How's he gonna do that? Oh, he'll just make out with her for a while, I see. After some time, they return to the surface, and discover that their boat...
I thought he was asexual. And again, if he's a mutant, maybe I don't understand how these things work. So educate me in the comment. Does that mean he's a human being or not? Like, I'm just confused. Is he some otherworldly being? Or is he a human being? Or can people like transform into mutants as human? Like, what is happening here? Confusion galore. I think this is what this movie is. Confusion galore.
Has been destroyed. On the other hand, Deacon pretends to be nice to Enola and inquires about the tattoo behind her back, but she remains silent.
She can read
He
through
then
you.
offers her some colored pencils and asks her again, but she doesn't say anything. Back on the destroyed boat, Mariner and Helen are hopeless. Helen inquires as to why he did not accept her when she offered herself.
I'm sorry, but I can't imagine living in water like all my life. Like, I love the sea and all of that. Like, I love the beach and all of that. Like, yeah. But I have never attempted swimming in the sea, you know. I can swim in a pool or something, you know. But, like, I love rain too. Don't get me wrong, I love rain. But sometimes when it even rains too much, just walking outside becomes annoying. Like the mud, of course, it depends on where you stay. If your streets are, you know, developed, if, you know, your streets are tarred and all of that, look. But if you stay in some muddy area where your streets are not tarred, it's so annoying to walk. Even when it rains sometimes. Imagine living a life each and every day where you're like just in water. The cold, the uncomfortability, the wetness. Oh, I guess you learn to live with it, you know, but it really shows how knowledgeable and intelligent God is. Like knowing that human beings can't always live. I mean, if he had created us as beings that lived in water, I'm sure we would not be seeing this as strange. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's like there are creatures that live in water, can survive in water. That's their natural habitat. And there are some creatures that, like, you know, it's just once in a while thing. Dip your toes in and come back to land. I just can't imagine us just swimming every day. Like, what will happen to our arms? Jeez. Maybe we might develop fins like what Marina developed, you know? Fins and all of that to learn how to swim, because I couldn't do that.
To which he responds that she did not like him then. The answer touches her heart and she kisses him before the two of them make love on the boat, because there's no turn on like knowing that your surrogate daughter.
So I'm guessing this is in a span of a day, right? Or maybe a few days. He's like now falling in love with her after saying he's asexual and he hated them and threw the girl out of the water and all of that. And when a little girl is in danger, this is the best time you think you should be having sex instead of developing a plan to rescue her. Because according to Helen, she has the key to where dry land exists. Okay.
Has been kidnapped. The following day, Mariner attempts to repair the boat, but they discover Gregor and his hot air balloon. This guy's nuts. Gregor then takes him to the boat where the survivors
Okay, I guess
of
he
the
came in
are
handy.
staying. At night, they talk about going on a search for dry land, but the people aren't ready to look for Enola because it's dangerous to face the smokers. Mariner then decides to go on his own in search of the little girl. After a while, he arrives at the smoker's ship and enters it, killing the smokers one after another. I can imagine no scarier death than being held underwater by Kevin Costner. Meanwhile, Deacon gathers the smokers and lies to them, claiming to have discovered the way to dry land. He orders everyone to begin rowing, thereby propelling the ship forward.
So let me correct my mistake. So all this walking we are seeing them doing, they're actually on ships walking. You know, they are really not on land. They are in ships. They've developed towns with ships. I get it now. Because I was like, for a world that is covered in water, these people are doing a lot of walking on land. But they are not on land. They are on their ships and their boats and stuff, walking inside those ships and boats that are now towns. I get it. Okay.
Men begin to row. Mariner approaches Deacon alone and asks to free Enola. When Deacon refuses, Mariner threatens to drop the flame into the oil reserve, which will cause the entire ship to explode. Deacon does not believe he will act irrationally, but Mariner is batshit and drops the flame, causing a massive explosion. Deacon then flees with the little girl before Mariner reaches the top at the podium and notices him on the plane. He immediately fires a spear gun at the ship's fence and ziplines down. Following that, he uses the metal rope to create a barrier, causing the plane to crash before taking off.
Oh my
Fortunately,
God. I hope she's
Enola is
alive.
unharmed, and the two of them embrace. However, the ship begins to break down, leaving them with no means of escape.
At this rate, will they ever really get to dry land? Because this is we're 9 minutes into this 11 minutes narration, and it doesn't seem like there might be a happy ending to finding dry land to this story. But let's see.
Fortunately, Helen, Gregor, and an atoll resident arrive. Before the ship breaks down, they drop the rope and pull Mariner and Enola up. But Deacon grabs the rope and climbs up as well. When Helen notices this, she throws a heavy object at him, and Enola kicks him, causing him to fall into the ocean. Mariner and Helen make it to the hot air balloon, but a persistent Deacon jumps on a jet ski and
man is
shoots
a
at the hot
fighter.
air balloon,
He's
causing
determined.
Enola to fall into the water. Deacon orders his
Okay, now
men
she
to
can
capture the
swim.
little girl, but Mariner is quick to respond. He grabs the rope and ties it around his leg before leaping from the hot air balloon. He successfully grabs Enola. The rope becomes a bungee cord, and he springs up just in time, causing the jet skis to collide and explode. Finally, they reach the hot air balloon safely. This time, Gregor is able to understand Enola's tattoo and head in the direction of dry land. After several days of flight, they spot a bird on their hot air balloon. When they look further, they are astounded.
Okay, I guess if there's a bird, there's dry land. This movie is just too mystical. It's too good to be true. So what? They flew for days and found dry land. The hot air balloon didn't run out of air. Okay. But yeah, if there's a bird, there's probably dry land.
See land for the first time in their lives. They are overjoyed to finally be here.
Now they have to
Begin
develop the
exploring
land, I
area.
guess.
A few moments later, they notice a small hut and enter it to find a couple's bones lying together. They also discover the map drawing, which is similar to the one on Enola's back. That hut is revealed to be owned by Enola's family. Her family appears to have sent her away in the hope that she will bring more people to dry land. Meanwhile, Mariner finds the land to be uncomfortable. Plus, look at that leather jerkin and those earrings. This guy can't be held down by one lady, and he feels that he belongs in the sea. He then approaches Enola.
I mean, obviously,
and
he
informs
has
her that
fangs.
He is leaving, which saddens her. He tells her that he isn't born for dry land, but she tries to assure him that he will adapt. However, he doesn't change his mind and bids Enola and Helen one final goodbye before departing. In the final scene, Helen and Enola realize that they're on the summit of Mount Everest. Crazy. They then watch Mariner sailing away from the cliff. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications.
I like the adventure in the movie. It's just that some things do not make sense, you know? But I like that this movie was always keeping us on our toes and what will happen next, what will happen next, what will happen next. And I like the out of touch concept, honestly. Someone sat down and thought, imagine a world just covered with water. Let's write a movie about that. And then they did it, you know? I like the execution of it. What would I rate this movie? Just from the recap, I think I would give it a 6 out of 10, you know? Like 6 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on the movie. And if you've watched the full movie and perchance there's anything that this recap missed, let us know in the comments. Give us the paragraphs. Give us the commentary. Educate us. We want to read it. We want to know. And yeah. Now, did I really enjoy watching this movie? Not necessarily. You know, I really don't think that this is a type of movie I would sit down and watch like the full movie, you know. I think that if I was watching the full movie, I would probably be asleep by now, or I would just not be interested. I would have clocked out. I mean, that's just me, you know. But yeah, who knows? That's why I appreciate movie recaps, because who has time to watch full movies? Not me. I'm joking, guys. I do watch some full movies. Mostly Lifetime. The 90s Lifetime movies. I love them. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I feel like the movie is like, meh, you know? It's cool. It's cool, I guess. Guys, if you had fun at this watch party, enjoying this movie with me, if you've never watched this movie before and you discovered a new movie, let me know in the comments. If you've never heard of Waterworld and discovered a new movie, let me know in the comments. This is what I'm here for, bringing you movies that you may have never heard of and movies that you have heard of. You know, commenting on them from a different perspective, giving my honest and brutal opinions on them, whether they are overhyped or deserve their hype. Please do like this video and don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys.